so exciting, and it's so amazingly attractive.
Yeah, you're not laughing now, are you?
All right, and we are we late? We late. I've got to what I've got to do? I've got to wash my hands. I'll tell you why. I've got a couple of those got a couple of those sticky mouse traps, and they're covered in cockroaches. Oh, camera's coming up. Let's clean these out. This content is not sponsored by Kellogg's. Although, those of you with a keen eye, can you see that? I've got a bike, you can ride it if you like. It's got a basket, a bell that rings and things to make it look good. I'd give it to you if I could, but I borrowed it. Now, weirdly, it has got a basket. And it has got a bell that rings. But I didn't borrow it. And you can have a go, but you've got to come to Cambodia. That was bought for me by that Vietnamese bird I was with for probably 6 years too long out of a 6-year relationship. What a thought, though. Oh, I had to throw some of her photos away when I moved out, when we cleared my mother's house. Like, some of the photos she sent me, like actual prints as well. And I was like, oh, you know, do I really have to throw this away? Yes, I do. You have to do the right thing. Anyway, apologies for being a bit late. I have crammed so much in today, as those of you might. I really enjoyed the stream earlier. I felt like I was back in the saddle. It's been too long. Had a nice chat. Got some new people in. Nice to see some of the regulars. And yeah, because I got up so early, I got most of the work I wanted to get done today done early. I've pumped iron today. I've done a lot of work, weirdly enough. I've done a stream. I had a Khmer lesson. I revised for my Khmer lesson. The lesson went really well. He says I'm well ahead of schedule. And I mean, it's after midnight here, if you want to keep the grift going. Here's the interesting thing. I might do some writing after this. I was complaining earlier that I'm getting too many things done. I'm not resting, but when I've got the energy, I don't want to rest. I want to do stuff. I've got a new short story based on a conversation I had with my cousins about our dead grandmother. I'll tell you what, that last story I wrote on Substack, top link in the description, plenty of likes, but not so many comments. I wonder if maybe because I haven't been streaming enough, I haven't been marketing my Substack enough, but it could well do some comments. If you want to help me out, get over to that latest Substack story and just write any comment. The way the algorithm works is engagement. Wait, I'll tell you this just in case you don't know. This is why YouTubers ask for a thumbs up. That's why it means so much. This is how YouTube knows. This isn't about me. This is about YouTube. And as YouTube consumers, you may well be interested in this. This is one of the ways that YouTube knows or chooses automatically using a computer, not a person, which is kind of understandable. It would be tricky sitting there. Right, can you all watch the 60 hours of footage that's uploaded every minute and tell us what ones to watch? But this is the algorithm. That's the wrong word. This is the equation. The engagement of a YouTube channel is all the views the channel's ever had So say my channel's had about 4 or 5 million, which is something like that. Say it's had 5 million. Divided by brackets, likes, plus subscribes, plus shares. So basically all the engagements, all the possible way of engaging. Oh, and a comment. So likes, comments, shares. Actually, I don't know if subscribes is in there. I don't know. Subscribes isn't in there. It's just engagement. So likes, comments, and shares. So for instance, let's get a calculator up here, and we'll just so you get an idea of this. And this is what the sort of thing that makes YouTube suggest your video to other people. You know, I know how. Hello, Jack. Nice to see you. Hello, Hans. Hello, Pizzle. I read your story, Pizzle, and I tell you what, I don't read a lot of other people's writing, to be honest with you. It was good as well. I think you've got something there. I really do. It just needs a lot of work, you know. All right, anyway, I already told you, didn't I? So this is how YouTube channels get recommended to other people, which is kind of a weird way, but you know, they've got to find some way of doing it. Yeah, let's have a look at the calculator. Why is my vape burning my lungs off? Right, so let's assume, so we've got to do the engagements first. So let's say a particular video has had 50 likes. It's had 20 comments plus 5 shares. So 50 likes, 20 comments, 5 shares, 75. Now the channel has had 5 million views. So 5 million divided by 75 equals 66. Of course. Absolutely done right up. So there you go. That is my score, 66.666. And I will be competing with other people who've got better engagement and who've got, you know, a higher score. And that's how they do it. That is how they do it. So, you know, this is why even with my Dragon's Den videos, I ask about 4 times. I even put it on the screen. And here's a really weird thing. This isn't a complaint. It's an absolute privilege to be able to stream and to get an audience. I've always loved it. I've been doing this now nearly 8 years. But it is weird. So take a Dragon's Den video. Takes me about an hour to just do the actual video. You know, I'll sit and watch it and I just interfere. I'll, you know, talk about it. And then I've got the master. And then I have to put the intro on and all that stuff, the outro, sometimes a couple of corrections, edit some problems out if there are any. You know, sometimes there's audio drops or whatever. Then I've got to design a thumbnail and all that and then upload it. And it will get like, some of them in the end get over 1,000 views, which is lovely. That on its own is a privilege for a video to get 1,000 views. But when that 1,000 view video gets, I mean, I usually get about 50, 60 comments, which is great, but it gets like 200 likes. And this isn't just me, this is all YouTubers. They're like, why didn't they just do it out of the kindness of their heart? Just click like, you know, it's a nice thing to do. And if you get over it, I mean, like I say, 8 years in, I'm sort of used to it. But as a content creator, when I go to a channel, even if I don't like the video, I mean, unless it's like hi, welcome to the video. This week's in show with Hollywood movies. It's coming right up after this. It's like, no. It's a computer voice. It's AI generated content. I'm not interested. But if they've got me as far as wanting to watch it, I think that deserves a like. They've done something. They've achieved something. And I know that it helps them. It's a weird kind of sort of state of things. Like at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, when you're not an established name, you do the free fringe. Now, it's not actually free. At the end of the show, you have a bucket by the door. Now, there's different ways of doing it. You pay people to hold 2 buckets either side of the exit as people are leaving. And as people are leaving, they'll chuck like £1 in. The occasional person might put a £5 in. But when I done it, I used to stand there myself. You're going to have to look me in the eyes when you leave here. And when I done Sex with Children, which was a story, it did actually have a story arc about my, largely about abuse I suffered as a child. There was a couple of other people's stories I dropped in there just to give it a bit of shape. At the end of the show, the reason I'm telling this is because my mate Trevor, who's been in the game a lot longer than me, when I was first doing stand-up, he said to me, "Hello, Joan." He didn't say hello, Joan. He said to me, "You've got to ask." He says, "You've got to say to them at the end, oh, I know this is a free show, but if you enjoyed it, I have got to pay rent, and the Edinburgh landlords put it's almost over for new comics, the Edinburgh Fringe, really. The biggest comedy, what would you call it? I don't know what it's called. The biggest comedy event in the world, the Edinburgh Fringe, is being landlord price rents out of existence. The only people really who can perform at the Fringe are people who are established acts, which means they've been on celebrity shows and they don't say anything interesting. It's a real shame because the Edinburgh Fringe used to be proper out there stuff. My 2 sellout shows, Sex Tourist and Sex with Children, ridiculous. By sellout, that might seem weird after what I just said, but what I mean is there's no room in there. There was not even standing room. Queues going around the block, seriously. And at the end of Sex with Children, I'd say, right, I said, so that's it. The show's over because you've just had the biggest belly laugh of the night. That's obviously the end. You know how this works. And I'll say, let me tell you something. When you go to a restaurant, and this is what I'd say to my crowd, who were in a very good mood, because I was a very good comic. I'll go, when you go to a restaurant and you have food and you enjoy that food, you don't walk out without paying, do you? Because that would be stealing. They give you the food, you enjoy it, and then you pay them. If you just walk out without paying, you're stealing. And if you walk out of this venue without putting something in my bucket, you're stealing from a victim of child sex abuse. And I'd keep a proper straight face as well. I go, you're stealing from a victim of child sex abuse. Seems a bit wrong, And then I'd crack up. The thing is, though, then you get to the end of your bucket, 5s, 10s, 20s, 5s, 10s, because you've asked them, and people are happy to donate. And then it got to the bit where I was saying my rent to do the Fringe is $2,500. My blah 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 blah. And if you just tell people, they're happy to help. And there was other comics going, "Oh, I can't do all that." And I go, "Yeah, that's why you're $3,000 down as a comedian. That's not really helping your career, is it? Really hobbling it." But yeah, the landlords are putting their, when they know the Fringe is on, they can sort of quadruple their, because it's when all the students are at home anyway, so they've got all the student accommodation free. They quadruple the rents. What a terrible shame. Someone's grifted it up with dub. Alan, tell us about your arm. Alan, can you come on? Or would you rather not do that because you're all morphined up because of your arm? I bet you gutted. Mr. Taylor, we're going to have to give you some medication before we reset your arm. Are you allergic to morphine? No, I'm not. I'm not. What I'm allergic to is you not giving me enough. No, it still hurts. Yes, but you're asleep, sir. It still hurts. I need more. All right, thank you, Alan. Alan says, surgery this Thursday, nuts and bolts. Oh, so they're going in with the old plates and screws and that. You can't keep a good scrub down. Love you all. That's amazing, Alan. I mean, don't worry, mate. They'll give you probably a nerve blocker up here somewhere in your shoulder, and then everything below that you can't feel. Once they've set it, you could have a snidey little crack one out. You wouldn't know it was you. It's not really what you want to hear. I hope that all goes well, though, Alan. What happened? Tell us what. I'll keep an eye out in the chat. You know, you don't have to super chat, but tell us what happened. For people who weren't here earlier, where were you? Where were you when I was streaming at like 3 o'clock? Alan broke his arm. He had to do the off-ski. Cheers, Alan, anyway. Oh, there's another one. I reckon I know who that is already. I didn't. Human said, I looked you right in the eye as I put this in your bucket. There is a few funny stories of things that go in your bucket as well. Like I had one £50 note once, and you just go, oh, nice one, man. And he was like, it's all right, you're welcome. You're welcome. No worries, man. And there are pound coins. And, you know, when you filled a room of 300 people, if 200 of them put a pound in, I'm all right with that. And 50 of them are putting fivers in. That's great for an hour and a half. Well, 45 minutes work. I mean, you've obviously had to become a good comic leading up to it. But anyway, he's gone. So I poured my bucket open, moved all the shrapnel to one side, pulled all the quids out, got all the notes together. That 50 was a Jekyll. It was a fake. And when I turned it over, it said, you're shit. It was a fake 50, only printed on one side, really badly as well. But because it's like a comedy club, it was dark. Light enough for me to see it was a bullseye, though. But when I looked at it and thought, hang on a minute, and I turned it over, you're shit. And it didn't even spell it right. It was like, you're shit. You know, like my poo. Not you are shit. It was your, no apostrophe R-E. You're shit. Sort of made it a bit worse that he didn't spell it right. You know, I had an idiot abuse me. And you know, he built me up with his 50 pounds and then took it away. I did have a little laugh, though. To this day, I think it was a joke. I don't think, you know, maybe it wasn't a joke. Maybe he was like, I'll keep this. I'll go and see that Dangerfield and I'll let him know his shit. Thank you, Humans A. Yeah. Okay. We are equalis. So thank you, Alan. Good luck Thursday, mate. I'll have a little look on Entropy. I don't know if the niggler's about. I ain't seen him for a while. Well, I've only done 2 streams in the last week, so not surprising. But I'm sure he's niggling someone somewhere. That wouldn't be in the least bit surprising. Yeah, it's a weird angle, isn't it? Hey, Comic Cons are great. What is it? I don't know what it's called. If anyone can suggest what it is, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. It's a festival. There you go. So the Edinburgh Fringe used to be all sorts of arts. It still is. There's like a literature element to it. There's a dance element to it. Who goes to any of those? Family and friends of the performers. No one goes to the Edinburgh Fringe and says, yeah, should we go and see some comedians, or should we go and see, what's this show called? Stealth the Mind Child. Through dramatic and contemporary dance, Ula Maganitha experiences life as seen through someone who never felt like the other children. Anyone up for that? Hang on, there's more here. After several abortions and 2 suicide attempts, Ona realised that dance was a way she could express herself in space and find her place in the world. This, yeah, I'm going to that. I'm going to go to that rather than sit down and laugh my head off for an hour. Joshua, hello, Josh. How are you, Sundial? What are the gun laws like? When I have to be a little bit careful. There he is. There's the niggler. A Jekyll. Does a snide. Yes, Jekyll and Hyde. Snide. There you go. Gotcha. There's the niggler. I knew he was here. Joshua, I've got to be careful because I am there. Now, how am I going to explain this? Because I have to be careful. It's not really the laws you've got to worry about. You get a bloke standing on the corner of most roads with like a Kalashnikov. Not joking. Sometimes they're asleep and it's just sort of laying next to them. I don't know. I mean, you can, if you're really interested, email me. Yeah. I never read it, Pizzle. I had a girlfriend who had it. I had a little look occasionally. She liked it, and she was a clever thing, but it weren't really for me. Yeah, Frankie Boyle, what a turnout! I mean, that is one of the weirdest things to happen, isn't it? What the hell has happened to him? You know, he was all about offence and, you know, let's see how far we can push this. I reckon it was a bird, and I'm not blaming women. I reckon he got birded off and she was like, the reason you're an alcoholic or whatever, the reason you're unhappy or depressed is because you live in a world of hate and you need to embrace a world of light and love. And because he loved her, he bent over and, you know, broke his spine to keep her happy. And now he's just a dickhead. It's just weird, isn't it? Frank, you know, we all change as we grow, but there's a bit of a rolling, you know, there's a bit of a snowball effect. As we roll, we take with us things we've learned on the way. You know, Frankie Boyle kind of got halfway and then unwound and went back to the source, which weirdly I called this video for no reason. Right, I'm going to find out what happened to Alan. Here we go. So you actually were throwing hands with your brother after you'd broken your arm? Because that is premium Chad. Just throw him. Alan, I'm imagining you've got one of those open fractures where the bone's sticking out of the arm, just catching him round the mouth with it, stabbing him with your broken bone. Go on, get in there. Your hand hanging down all floor with his bone. He goes to hospital. What are these wounds? Looks like some kind of knife. No, that's my brother's humerus. Alan, were you on the booze, Xanax, or anything, or was it a completely sober affair? That sounds peculiar. But yeah, shit does happen. But it does. You're right. That's you know, people need to learn to cut themselves a bit of slack. Stuff does happen. This is life. I don't know if you all, I know a lot of you follow me on Twitter, but I just want to show you this. I'll get it into my paint thing. This is what this is an infographic that I found on the internet that is being taught in Christian schools in the UK, in Church of England schools. Now, because it's YouTube, I haven't got an angle on this. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. That's up for you to decide. I just thought I'd show you it. This isn't my infographic. This infographic was produced by the Equality Institute, some NGO that's I don't know, brainwashing the youth of the UK. And that's a good thing, of course, because they need their personalities washed out of their sick skulls. Have a look at this. Hang on. That one. So there you have it, people. The pyramid of white supremacy. At the bottom there, just in case you can't read it, I'll make it bigger, but when I make it bigger, it cuts off the bottom. So the bottom of the pyramid of white supremacy is indifference. There are two sides to every story. Apolitical beliefs, avoiding confrontation. Politics don't affect me. But then it goes to minimization, white savior complex, not all white people, not believing POC experiences, denial of white privilege, post-racism, intentions bigger than impact. Halfway up the pyramid of white supremacy, victim blaming, racist jokes, Eurocentric curriculum, tokenism, cultural appropriation, racist icons. Anyway, basically, you've only got to go 3 more up and you're at mass murder and genocide. Lynching. I mean, I'm not laughing at lynching. I'm laughing at this peculiar KKK. I mean, there you go, people. So that's being taught in UK schools. And here's the weird thing. I've got a higher than average IQ, and I've done enough tests to prove it weren't a fluke. There was a few. I did leave a few years before my first one, though. I thought, don't do another one because you fluked that. It was like 138 or something. Just stick with that one. I don't understand that. I don't understand it. I don't get it. What is it? You just become a killer. That's it. That's it. If you don't agree with the liberal orthodoxy, you become a killer. I mean, I suppose if they could back it up with some statistics and facts or whatever. Anglo-Saxon drops a 5-bit. What the fuck happened to hunting? Good call. Hello, Squire. It's been a while. I haven't streamed for about 9 days, I worked out today. That's why I've done 2 today. And I've just been really busy, Anglo. It's been crazy. And I've been feeling my age, you know, doing so many different things. I'm getting really tired really early. You know, I used to sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, but now I'm sort of in bed like midday going, starting to get old. I might have to start slowing down. Don't want to. I want to speed up. I got the need for speed. But thank you, Anglo. Whatever happened to hunting is I think it's that one is my most popular story. It's had mad views. Love that water. Thank you, Anglo. Appreciate it. Excuse me. Right, I think I might have something to show you. Let's see who else is in first. Hello, Henry. Nice to see you. There you go. Thanks. That helps. Hello, Al. How are you, son? Ugly Truth. Emma G. That's interesting from the Niggler. Frankie Boyle is pulling the ladder up behind him or just a woke virtue signaler. But I just let's have a look at some of the stuff he said. Let's have a look at some of that. I think before we have a look at that, I'll show you the work that I done. You'll enjoy this because you obviously saw my thumbnail. But when you use Midjourney, you get a choice of 4. Have a look at these. It was an easy prompt as well, but some lovely images, absolutely lovely. Entire screen, bosh, bing, bang. Don't need my head in there ruining it. I think we can get a bit bigger. No, we can't. There you go, look at them. I think she's the most beautiful. I love you. I love you, lady that doesn't exist. She actually looks like that one who's in like Sin City and a few other movies. She does there as well in that one. But yeah, look at that. So you get 4, and I decided to go with that one. Mega Cropper's on the firm. Andrew's on the firm. No bloody way is that you. Hello, mate. Incredible. Incredible. That's been a while, isn't it? Lovely to see you. Good Lord. Good Lord. Excuse me. Oh, Emma's grassing old 42 there. He's working, but he's lurking. I know, Joan. It's madness, isn't it? How are you, Joan? All right, love. Pags. Francine Boyle. Thanks for the reminder. I got very distracted by AI images of rip the cord and you'll survive the fall. Right, let's see him lately. I don't know what we're going to look at. I haven't prepared this. I just thought if we have a look at a Frankie Boyle interview, we can go, oh no. Right, here's a clip from him on the last leg. Now, I made a couple of videos about the last leg in the past. Terribly unfunny. It's presented by this Aussie bloke. I mean, this is your classic top of the right. When I was a comedian, you know very quickly that most of the comedians you're performing with when you're moving up the ladder, they haven't got a passion for comedy. They're not comedians. They don't like comedy, really. They want fame. And I mean this. And that's all right if you want fame. I mean, what an awful thing to have. I've told you before, I've had a little touch of it here and there, and it ruins your life. Just a tiny bit ruins your life. You just have strangers come up to you and go, I like you. I saw you at Edinburgh. Can I sit down while you're having your breakfast? Will you say hello to my girlfriend? It does have its upsides when you're at Bangkok airport with some salt and a bloke comes up and go, you're Chris Dangerfield, the comedian, aren't you? And you go, yeah, that's who I am, son. Yeah, you want an autograph? Yeah, no worries, mate. There you go. Enjoy your flight. And the bird's like, what the fuck? You go, yeah, happens all the time. Just keep calm, though. Just, don't want to cause a storm. Other people will recognise me in a minute. Whereas actually, that happened once ever. But so they want to be famous, and I've seen about 4 of them. Joel Dommett, I don't know if you know Joel Dommett. I think he presents things like I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. The irony. And there was another one, this really round-faced bloke. I can't remember his name, but they just want to be famous. So you go from doing well as a comedian, and then you get asked to go on a panel show. And that's what the agents told me. There'd always be agents in my gigs. And I'd say to them, so you ain't signing me still? This is the 4th year you've been coming to my gigs. She goes, yeah, I like watching you, but I ain't signing you because what are we going to do with you? You can't put you on telly. What are you going to say? And I'll be like, something about shit and heroin. There you go, exactly. Anyway, this is their dream, to get like a regular spot on the last leg. And it's terribly unfunny. I haven't seen this clip. I might get yeeted. For people who don't know, if this stream ends and says copyright match, I have to sit on the naughty step for 3 minutes and then the stream comes back. But we'll try and have a look at it. And I'm just going to tell you now, this will be awful. Boyle will be awful. The presenter, this Aussie bloke, is antipodean. This has nothing to do with his awfulness, but he is awful. And everything about this will be, well, there'll be a fake canned laughter and canned applause. There is a live studio audience, but what you'll get is this. One of them will say what's meant to be a punchline, and you'll hear You know, it starts and stops like that. Laughter and applause. Whereas that's not what happens in a comedy situation when you make the audience laugh. When you make them laugh, it sort of builds up slowly. A few people laugh, a couple applaud, and then it builds down. But in this sort of situation, and it happens live as well, they flood the audience with it, so they know when to start and stop as well. Because the comedy is so bad, they actually need to be told where the funny bits are. And they love it. Imagine that. Imagine being so immersed in the hyperreal that it's just a job. It's just a job being totally inauthentic. I've got no problems with that. Well, you will have when you're about 60 and one day you wake up and think, I'm a soulless shell of a man. I sold everything just so that people recognised me. I should have just had a conversation with my mum. Anyway, after all that build-up, here it is, Frankie Boyle on the last leg. Hello, John. Hang on a minute, people. I've got to say hello to John. Hello, mate. How are you? Hello, it's a duck. Good to see thee. Hello, Picard. Packer, did you see what I replied to your comment on the last Dragon's Den video. I thought it might make you laugh. Oh, Anglo, I've got to, after that 10-minute build-up, I've got to, but appreciated. We'll only watch a little bit. It's a clip anyway, so it won't go on forever. Let me know you can hear it though, someone, or otherwise we'll be just sitting here watching silence. Here we go. I'm going to mute myself.
Look, we banged on a lot tonight about British politics, but there's a right royal rumble going on north of the border. The Scottish National Party look to find a replacement for the outgoing Nicola Sturgeon. Josh, are you across this, the SNP?
I'm not, to be honest. As an English person, when I see this kind of stuff going on, it's like when I watch...
So yeah, we got Naomi Campbell. I mean, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Cheers. We've got Frankie Boyle, and I don't know this fella's name. Maybe I should, but it's been a long time since I got out of comedy. So let's see his take on Nicola Sturgeon leaving the SNP.
And a replacement for the outgoing Nicola Sturgeon. Josh, are you across this, the SNP?
I'm not, to be honest. As an English person, when I see this kind of stuff going on, it's like when I watch American Idol. It's like, can I get involved in this? Does my vote mean anything?
I mean, I could not have asked for a better example of what I just told you. Let's just watch that again. His joke, his wit. I mean, he's no Oscar Wilde, is he? His wit is, when I watch politics, I'm paraphrasing. When I watch Scottish politics, it's like watching American Idol. I think, can I get involved in this? Have I got an opinion? And then listen to what is supposed to be the audience. All that is for, now step back, get that critical distance. All that is for is to tell the audience at home, I mean, the audience in the live audience are just stooges. They're there for nothing. That's to tell the audience at home, that's funny, you're entertained. And, people don't sit at home and go, he can't. It's like watching American Idol because he's English and that's Scottish. No one. If you've ever sat around watching light entertainment with friends or family, you haven't gone, oh, quick, the last leg's on. It's just on. No one sits there going, nothing like that. Mrs. is on the blower. Hang on. She always gets priority. She's the love of my life. Hello, darling.
Hello, Lopadai. What are you doing?
Knyom YouTube. Knyom Fräulein on, bon Fräulein on clang clang. Darling, I gotta go. I love you, but no, I'm gonna turn it. I'm gonna show him. I'm gonna show him. Bye, love. Hi. So let's just watch that again and just listen to that chunk that is telling people at home it's not trying to make them laugh, it's telling them they're entertained. And it works because they've been programmed to understand that. It's like a trigger. It's like a trigger. Over the years, the television has worked out how to tell people that they've been understood. This is what hypnotists do. You know, this is what NLP is based on. This is a lot of body language works like this. It's a trigger. So when you hear that, something in you thinks, oh yeah, 5 years old, sat in front of the telly, people laughing, the brave and the beautiful, the good, the successful people of our world are speaking. This is good. I'm entertained. And fully unconsciously, you've been reprogrammed again. Not a repeat program of that effect. Listen. Try and get that critical distance. Step back from it. Listen to his joke, and listen to the audacity of the people that made this program that know they can get away with that amount of fake laughter. They know they can get away with it because we've all been programmed with it. Shocking. Here we go.
Surgeon. Josh, are you across this, the SNP?
I'm not, to be honest. As an English person, when I see this kind of stuff going on, it's like when I watch American Idol. It's like, can I get involved in this? Does my vote mean anything?
Well, Frankie, I'm going to run through the candidates. Feel free to give us...
I mean, just shocking. Hello, Calvin. Hello, Pizzle. Hello, Woodlander. I mean, that's shocking. Here we go. This is what we're coming for. Frankie Boyle, the one-time comedian who made a living for like 30 years on pushing the comedy boundaries, as he should, as it's his job. Hello, Matt Zucker. Good to see you. Let's see how Boyle does. And I haven't seen this, so let's have a look.
Your thoughts on each one of them. Okay. Now, the first is Humza Yousaf, who many regard as a slightly ineffectual former health secretary. He's like Matt Hancock.
Yeah, I think we all know who he is. And I think we all know what he stood up in the Scottish Parliament and said about a country that's 90% white, something like that. So, but anyway, let's crack on and see let's see how Frankie Boyle manages to divide his real self from his woke costume that he sleeps in.
But he can grow a beard. Yousaf says he wants to campaign for and achieve Scottish independence. Frankie?
Yeah, he's sort of the progressive candidate, but basically he's presided over the health service where now the average ambulance waiting time is 6 hours. So basically, your best bet of getting to hospital in Scotland is phoning Deliveroo. Then collapsing on your doorstep dressed as a chicken chow mein.
Did you see that little clip of the audience not responding anywhere near the sound? Let's see if we can just grab that. I mean, you got to remember the audience will have had warm-up comedians who are always better than the celebrities, because once celebrities have made it, they just get the celebrity effect. The audience are in there just going, oh, Naomi Campbell, Frankie Boyle, I'm near to them. I'm close to real people. I'm close to the success. I'm close to it. And there is that disgusting thing with celebrities. I've said it before. You know, you go back to like the 40s, celebrities, you didn't get to see them. You'd very rarely get to see a photograph in a newspaper. They kept themselves hidden. If you wanted to see a celebrity, you went and watched their films. You went and watched what they'd done. But these days, you can't find what they do for all the fucking mess of them shoving themselves in your face 24/7 on 50 different software platforms, social media platforms, sorry. I mean, it was, you know, it was a hack. That is a hack joke I'd expect from a open mic comedian. You know, I knew where that was going as soon as he said it. Oh, the ambulance takes 6 hours. Okay, he's going to make a funny joke about you can get there quicker by doing, and there it was, Deliveroo. Let's see how excellent it goes from here.
Is phoning Deliveroo. Then collapsing on your doorstep dressed as a chicken chow mein.
The second challenger is Ash Regan, who has said she would unilaterally declare Scottish independence if the party wins a majority of votes and seats north of the border in an election. She's like Braveheart, but without Mel Gibson's anti-Semitism. Frankie?
Yeah, I mean, like, just like all the candidates kind of lack Nicola Sturgeon's kind of connection with the electorate. Because like she was like an archetypal Scottish person. You know, like she looked like a fire alarm had gone off halfway through her haircut.
I mean, I'm not going to risk getting yeeted for any more of that. I've just realised I know that fella. What's his name? He's an opera singer and a comedian. Look at him sitting in. Oh, and Josh Widdicombe. Josh Widdicombe's a regular. He's got like a spot on there, and all he does is go. He was on. He was. Listen to this. I might have told you this before. My last ever gig, right? I've done 10 years of stand-up. The first story I ever told was the one when I was on acid and I had sex with the disabled girl. True story. And it was also the last story I ever told. Geezer writes to me and he says, he come and see me do Sex with Children, but it was my night. It was Chris Dangerfield, Sex with Children, buy tickets in advance, sold out, 150 seats. There was a few celebrities there because I was living in Soho and I knew them. Nice little gig. You know, the celebrities bring other people. That's why you do it. It's marketing. But it was my gig. You know, people are coming to see me. That makes a difference, a real difference. It's such a lovely moment in your comedy progression when you're not having to get on stage and think, I'm not sure if this crowd are really going to enjoy my smutty stories about prostitutes overdosing on heroin while I've got my penis inside of them. But when you know that they're coming to see you, it's just lovely because you know that they're on side from the outset. So anyway, there's a comedy promoter came to that gig. About a week later, I get an email from him. He said, listen, he said, I've been doing I can't remember the name of the night. Hello, Otto. He said, I've been doing, we've been doing this comedy night for about 7 years and the venue is chucking us out. So this is our last ever gig. He said, I want you to, excuse me, burp. I want you to headline it. And I was like, yeah, all right. He said, but I want you to do the Sex with Children routine. Now, it ain't a routine. It's an hour show. You know, it's got a story arc. It's an hour. And I said to him, it won't work. It won't work. I said, that's an Edinburgh show. That's a show when people are coming to see me. How many other acts are on? He went 7. I was like, you know, so each of them will get at least 15 minutes, right? So what's that? 70, that's 100, that's nearly 2 hours with the compare in between. That's about 2.5 hours of not very good comedy because his comedy club was also like an open mic night. And an open mic night is where anyone can turn up and just get on stage and go, I fell over the other day, but when I fell over, I was in Australia, so I landed on my head because my feet were in the air. Nah, and they're terrible, but you all start there. I was terrible when I started. I wasn't. I was already excellent. And I said to him, I said, listen, after 2 hours of exceptionally bad comedy, no one's going to want to sit to me doing an hour in a club Now, when I done it at the week he saw it with, it was at a lovely venue. The lights were up. I don't like all that darkness. I like to be able to see the audience. Didn't use a microphone because didn't need it. I'd like to shout and just, I like to have my hands. I did use one of them occasionally. I think I used one of them that night, actually, because that don't matter. Someone filmed it. But I said to him, it won't work. He said, I'll give you 400 quid. And I was like, I said, can't I just do a set? He said, no, I want you to do that sex with children. I said, it won't work though. And, he wouldn't stop. And I said, all right. I said, I've told you it won't work though. All right. And he went, don't worry, it'll be great. Now, I wasn't doing very well at the time, shall we say. I was fucked, right? I was sleeping about no hours a week. I was jacking Valium all day long. I was jacking Skag all day long. I was drinking quadruple gins for breakfast. That was lovely. I think I might help myself to another. I was sitting in my toilet talking to myself in the front room nearly every day. I'd be in the toilet in my little flat in Soho going, you all right in there, son? And then me was also sitting in the front room. That's not the right sort of state of mind to do a club comedy hour. I remember I was in the toilet and the front room. And I couldn't tell you to this day which one of them was the real me. See me, feel me, touch me. Anyway, I am keeping an eye on the super chat, so I will not miss any. I think I've just missed one by Picard, actually. Did I get that one? Yeah. Packer says, one-legged Aussie, one-handed Cockney and an Hobbit. Is that why it's called The Last Leg? Has the presenter lost, a leg or something? Well. So anyway, when it comes to the night, I am in such a bad state. I'm walking to the venue. The venue was down on Longacre, which is the other side of Charing Cross Road. And I lived in Soho, which is the other side of Charing Cross Road. And as I was walking down there, it was like, and like sex women going, and like blokes going, blokes I'd scored off in the past, I've got to put that in, sort of going, hey, brother, you want to have a party on your party? And like grabbing me, and I was going, yeah. I was thinking, I'll be all right. So when I get there, I'll have a couple of gins, sober up a bit. I was fucked. Outside, I met my mate Andy, he's also a comedian, and he just went, what kind of mess are you in then? I was like, I don't know, man. And I couldn't even make the sounds of consonants. It was just a vowel. I was like, and he was like, why don't you just cancel it? I was like, 400. And he started laughing, and I thought, I'm doing it. So I've gone downstairs, and I've just sort of plotted down on this seat, like, and I keep jolting awake. I'm gouching. I'm sort of going, and then jolting awake. And every time I jolted awake, I was like, where the fuck am I? Why are all these people in my house? Why is there someone shouting at me? Oh, it's a comedian. Oh, shit, yeah, right. Sober up. Do us a quadruple gin. We don't do quadruples. Do us 2 large ones, can you? Yes. What? All right. Thanks. Do us another 2. That'll help me out. Couple more vowels in the toilet. And so it has gone on forever. All these 15-minute sets are going on for 25 minutes. And all of them, they're just like a gang. This hasn't been a successful comedy night. This has been an unsuccessful open mic club where the audience is made up of all the comedians who go on stage. So there's 20 or there's probably about 40 people there, but most of them are comedians who go there because they'll get a bit of stage time. And because it was the last ever one, he said to them, I looked at the flyer and I was sort of like, and it was like very special headline guest, you know, like celebrity headliner. And I was thinking, yeah, I don't know where you've got that from. And I said to my mate, I said, who's that? He went, that's you. I didn't even know. I was like, okay, that's handy. And in between every open micer, he got on stage and he said, okay, only 4 more comedians left to the main event, the celebrity, the headliner is the 7 years. We're celebrating 7 years of this club, and this is the final night. And they're all like, you know, real special night for them all, you know. They've done 7 years, all this. Josh Widdicombe, that bloke from that last leg, you didn't see him there, but I can see him here. I wonder if I can show you him talking. It's all Frankie Boyle, isn't it? That's why I put Frankie Boyle clip. Oh, hang on. Yeah, hang on. You can see a little bit of Widdicombe. Here, look. This fella here. Him, Josh Widdicombe. I think that's what his name is anyway. He came up while I was coming up in the stand-up scene. So he's on before me and he's got this perfect 10-minute set. And it's perfect because he's been doing it for 5 years everywhere he goes. And a lot of comics do it. They just get a perfect 10 or 15-minute set. You know, it's the first one they done, and they just make it, you know, little bit here, take a bit off here, add a bit here. And so that if an agent sees them or a booker sees them, they're like, wow, they're an amazing comedian. And they book them, and when they turn up and do the same set, they think, oh, that's not really what I was expecting, the same that is also on YouTube and live at the Apollo. So he's gone on and done an absolutely perfect club set. With the microphone, everyone's cracking up. And I was thinking, you know, it's quite nice to have the act before you be good because it warms everyone up. But I was thinking, if they like this leftist prick, they're going to fucking hate me. Then it's time. The compere gets on stage and he goes, right. He goes, we're going to have a 10-minute break. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. He goes, and then it's going to happen, people. The headliner is coming on. And I went and sat on the stairs, and these 2 kids sat in front of me making a joint. And one of them went, I've heard it's Russell Brand. And the other one went, yeah, a few people have said that to me. And I was thinking, you know, this was when Russell Brand was at his height as a performing comedian, not as a celebrity or some fake guru, as a performing comic. And there's rumours going around that it's Russell Brand. No, it's Dangerfield on death's door, which is quite a step down in terms of excitement, I can assure you. And then that 10 minutes passes far too quickly. I thought about doing the off. I just thought, just go home. Just go home and take some drugs, man. You were having a much better time talking to yourself from the toilet, in the toilet, front room, in the toilet. But here I am about to have a horrible gig. And I knew it. And even Andy, my mate, just said, I'd fuck off if I were you. This is dreadful. I said, I can't let him down. He went, no, you can't go without getting the money. I said, yeah, I wonder if I can get him to pay me first. Then, this is how he made it even worse. I'm about to go on, right? So I'm sitting there, asleep, gouching. I'm hearing things. I'm hearing voices. I haven't slept for about 4 or 5 days, right? That will do you in more than all those drugs. I mean that. Lack of sleep and food. And he went, right. He said, now you're all ready for your headliner. And they were like, yeah. And he was like, this bloke is known as the most controversial comedian of the fringe. You know, because I got called that by the likes of The Guardian, the usual suspects. He has done blah, blah, blah. And they were all like whispering among themselves. Oh, no. Like, I'd been walking around. Like, people had seen me. That's how unfamous I was. I'd been in there for like half the night. And then this was the clincher. He went, this isn't stand-up comedy as you know it. And I was like, hey, where's he going with this? Don't give them weird, don't make them think. If you're giving them odd expectations, he went, this isn't stand-up comedy as you know it. This is a live comedy experience. And I just thought, it ain't. It's not. It's a zombie trying to remember what his name is. And then he went, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please raise hand, go mad, Chris. And as he said, Chris, I heard this one bloke go, oh shit. Because he knew I was there. He went, Chris. And he just went, oh shit. And the bloke next to him just turned around and looked at me. He went, Dangerfield. Lackluster response, to say the least. And Andy went, good luck. And I've sort of gone, as I'm walking onto the stage, I couldn't keep my balance. I was like having to use the wall, but not in sort of like a slapstick. There might have been a bit funny. I used to do a funny walk here and there. Funny walks are a staple among stand-up. But I was like a drug addict who needed a lot of help and sort of, nervously feeling for the wall so I could get on the stage. I've walked on the stage with my back facing the audience, just going, and I sort of turned around, and as I looked at, right, imagine you're the audience. Imagine this, right? Imagine me like this. And I've just gone like this. Right? They're laughing. They think it's an act. They're going, like I'm doing this sort of like mental sort of spaz kind of, but I'm not. I'm just trying to stay standing up. The breath and energy walking from the fourth row up the steps and onto the stage, I was out of breath. I was going, I thought, you can't use the mic, because as soon as you use the mic, it ain't going to look great without the mic, but with it. So I've just moved that out of the way, made some hack joke. I went, I'll just take Naomi Campbell off the stage. And I said, right. And then someone went, use the mic. And I went, I don't like using mics. And all the people at the back were going, we can't hear you. And I was going, what, you want me to use the mic? Oh, man, it's really hurting me. They were going, we can't hear you. I was probably going, hey, Charles. So I've got the mic, and I never used microphones. Don't like them. So now I've got this thing that, Ad, you hold it there, do you? Or you sort of hold it there. Do you put your lips on it and get hepatitis or something? And I was just thinking, what am I going to do? Am I going to do Sex Tourist? No, sorry, Sex with Children. Sex Tourist was the other show. I just thought, I can't remember it. I can't remember that. And so I just thought I'd improvise it. And I have improvised whole hour gigs plenty of times, but not in that state. And this is where the story of fucking a dog comes from. I thought I'll just make some shit up. And I went, I fucked a dog once. But now there's one rule in stand-up, be likable. If they like you, you can say anything you want. Really, really. I have said some of the most hideous things on stage, and people have been in tears. But when you walk up there, now I'm about to say, like a drug-addled tramp. But you can take like away. I was a drug-addled tramp, stinking, dirty clothes. And I just went, I fucked a dog. I remember one bloke just went because he just thought, I can't believe he's just said that. The room just went absolutely silent. And then I thought, no, that's all right. I've got this. I went, well, I didn't actually fuck it because I don't know. How do you know whether it's a bitch or a dog? You know, I don't know whether it was up the bum or the fanny because I don't know what. I say anyway, it reversed itself onto me more than me. Fuck it. It's silent, except for that one bloke. He was cracking up. I don't know if Madam. He realised what was happening. Everyone else is just going. And then they started doing the boo. And I went, look, I said, if you're going to interrupt me, you're not going to hear about when I it was awful. I only done about, I don't even know, I couldn't even tell you how long I'd done. I could not tell you what I was saying. It went downhill from there though. They were just not enjoying it. And I remember seeing the promoter at the end just going, and then occasionally I'd just sort of walk across the stage and just sort of think. And I remember, and this is the denouement really, and it's a bit of a letdown. I remember standing up there looking at everyone, and I knew I was in a real mess as a person. It sort of came to me that I was being looked at by, 50, 60 people. I was failing miserably, and I hated it. And I'd hated stand-up for quite some time by then. And I'd actually hoard myself out for the 40 or 400 quid. And I just thought, I'm never doing stand-up again. I remember on stage thinking that. And I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll tell the story about fucking the disabled girl on acid because it's always a winner. Even that failed. But that was the first ever story I told. And I used to tell it when I got in a bit of trouble, I'd tell that story because it's an absolute winner. The bird, I won't tell you the story because I know loads of scrubs know it, but I was on acid at a party. I pulled this bird and we were actually having sex before I noticed that she had like no hands. Her fingers were all fused together. And she was like, and she asked me to start calling her a lobster and some weird shit. It was really weird. So that was always a winner. But because they hated me, because I'd ruined their closing night, because I was boring them by just standing up there going, I was like Loomy trying to promote his book. I was just like, fuck the spastic bitch. I suppose she like a lobster with her hands and that. I went, anyway, that's me done. Just dropped the mic, went straight over to my mate Andy. He went to me, how do you think that went? And I said, well, you tell me. He went, well, I can't remember the promoter's name. He said, well, he come over to me and said, do you think I should pay him? And suddenly I woke up. I'll tell you what, I was just alive. I went, what? You fucking joking? I went straight over to him. I went, you got that money? And he just sort of just went like that, looked so angry. I went, nice one, mate. And I fucked off. And as I walked home via Wardour Street Park, here's 400. Cheers, mate. I just thought I'm never doing stand-up again. And I haven't since. I'm about to cry. I tell you what, a brutal gig is a brutal gig, but there's no such thing as a bad room. I can't blame them. If people have a bath, have a shower, get dressed, go out after an hard day's work, pay money, sit down for 2 hours, they're ready to laugh. If you can't make, I used to have comedians come out and go, oh, fucking hell, it's an hard room tonight. I was like, no, you were shit. That's it. They're ready to laugh, but you failed to, tease it out of them. But all comedians have bad gigs, all of them. Even the best comics and, Louis C.K., whoever you think, Doug Stanhope. I've seen Doug Stanhope live absolutely fall flat on his ass. I mean, he could barely see the end of his nose, the poor bloke. But people walking out and he'll go, hey, where are you going? And they were just going, home. Can you stop shouting? You've been doing it for the last 20 minutes. Can't believe I paid for this. I see Jim Jeffries at the Edinburgh Fringe once, 16 quid a ticket. The show was called Alcoholocaust. It was so tame, so tame. Even and the audience were doing their best to make a good night of it. He'd come on with like 3 pints of beer in pint glasses in his fingers, like you know, as if you were taking them to your mates. But he had them, and he had the mic, and he went. Did I tell you the show was called Alcoholocaust? And he was like, people think it's fun and that, you know, being a pisshead. And yeah, it's funny, but shit in the bed and, you know, your ass bleeding, that ain't so funny. And I was like, okay, we're going down that road, are we? He did tell quite a funny story, but I've seen him have terrible gigs. So the moral of this story is everyone has bad gigs, but that was my comedy arc. I told that story for my first gig, and I told it for my last. Here's the weird thing: the first time I told it, it was brilliant, and I thought, I'm a comedian. Look at me, mum, I'm a comic. By the last one, I thought, yeah, you need to sort yourself out. Hello, Doc Shelley. How are you, sonner? Right, it's 1:45 in the morning. The grift is terrible. I think I've got something else to... Whoa. I think I've got something else to show you. Actually, something. Let me just refresh entropy. No. I think I've actually got something in my YouTube history I wanted to show you. Sometimes when I'm making a stream and I'm going like that, right? You see me, I just done it then. That's because I don't know what I'm doing. I know that if I go like that, you think I'm looking for things. But actually, I'm thinking, what are you doing? I've kind of given the game away there, haven't I? Right, hang on. Let me just dig this out. There you go. Got it. He won't eat me. Don't worry. He's a good lad. Right, what I want you to do... Whoa. What I want you to do, I talk about it all the time. I talk about everything all the time. Hello, Abstract Steve. How you doing, son? Oh, likewise, Steve. Stanhope in his day, or even still, but I just feel like the podcast ruined it. You know, every day, him and his pissed mates just talking. I mean, but I think Stanhope is the best stand-up comedian of the last 30 years. I mean, Beer Hall Pooch, Deadbeat Hero, and there's another one. All three of them are just, they're masterpieces of stand-up comedy. It was because it was because of Stanhope that I got into stand-up. Hello, Jessica. How are you, darling? I do that at work, looking about, trying to work shit out. Yeah, it does work though. Right. I often talk about critical distance. And what it is, right, sorry to go back to drugs, but it's just quick. When I used to do a lot of acid, like my first ever acid trip was a means of production trip. I understood production and consumption and how the world operated in a, you know, and how it reproduced the necessary social relations to maintain the modes of production and consumption. That was my first trip. You know, I had weird trips like that. But I learned about critical distance because LSD gives it to you. You know, when people sort of would put on psychedelic music when we were tripping and go, listen, this is well weird. It's like, yeah, but if you put on Boney M or the Bee Gees, you're tripping. That will be well weird. And that's more interesting because it's the Bee Gees. It's not meant to be psychedelic. But when you put it on and it goes, you know, that's more interesting. So what it does is it makes the familiar unfamiliar. And that's critical distance. So I'm going to show you this little clip from Odin's Men. You know, Odin's Men used to do Jameson's, is it Travels? I can't remember. The military man who realised there was a channel to be had in being based. Excuse me. But just have a look at this as an artifact from our culture. This is a piece of footage that will be probably around forever unless the world gets nuked next week. If Biden gets another term. It's a joke, Susan. This is where we are as a signpost, as a milestone, of where we are as a culture. Try and step back from how familiar this kind of thing is to you and actually understand it anew, like afresh. Have a look at this. This is nothing you haven't seen before, by the way, but if you can just sort of step back, you'll be like, you'll get an understanding of it. Right, here we go.
Danny, why would you transition genders only to get pregnant and have a baby? This is one of the most commonly asked questions I receive. But the desire to have children doesn't discriminate based on your gender.
Wait a second. So your gender, you're saying is male, but you got pregnant. So at that point in time, when you got pregnant, when semen went up in the vagina, right? You were female. Is that wrong?
When I was living in the world as female, I felt uncomfortable and unhappy. It wasn't until I transitioned genders that I finally became home in my body.
Wow, but aren't you female now?
That's attention seeking. Now, why do you transition into a man and then do the ultimate female thing? Look at him showing it off. He knows that this is making people go, ah. He knows it's unpleasant. This is like a modern day freak show. And it just doesn't make any sense, because are you suggesting you've clearly got a womb and a uterus and fallopian tubes and a cervix, and I tend to associate those things with the female body. Like, I try not to, but they are there. And to have conceived through sperm, sorry, John, sorry, mate. Jack, I can't read it out, mate. I have to say, Jack, it doesn't look much like a baby, does it? There is certainly something odd about it. But you also must have a vagina, because how else is he going to give birth? Like through his nostril or something? It's just, you know, attention seeking. Blogs reckons it's a wind up. Well, it's not the first one, so there's been plenty more. Well, Glass, Glass is obsessed with the latest Spiritualized album, and it made me so happy. And Glass can understand my fascination with Candy Charms, which is why I love her. Glass, that is, not Charms. Well, the pair of them, to be honest with you. Anyway, let's have a look at a bit more.
Right now, you're pregnant. So men don't get pregnant. I don't get pregnant. As a man, I'd say I'm a man. People I know.
I actually forgot to say what Emma said. Sorry, Emma. Emma said, I feel sorry for these kids and their futures. Well, I'm thinking of that woman's, his, her. I don't know. I actually don't know what it is. So I'm just going to stick with the pregnant one. Look where we are. I've got to say that to keep my channel. So the pregnant one, someone's going to be born of the pregnant one. A child's going to come out of that, and at some point find out that their father gave birth to them. Now, I've seen kids at school be quite brutal about things like having a, lost property blazer, or, your packed lunch is a bit Stalk SB and not Capri Sun, basically. But when the kids at school find out that your dad is your mum, or vice versa, viva voce, I mean, I'm trying to think of what have you got? You've got Oedipus here, you've got Electra here. Now they're complicated enough. You know, we mark and match with our parents to understand about partners, love partners, etc., later life transference, and the child of the gender fluid that gave birth as a man. I'm going to take a wild guess here. I'm just going to put it out there. People are free to choose whatever they want to do. I've got to say that. But I'm going to take a wild guess that the child of that situation might struggle with their ability to connect with a largely sexually dimorphic species.
Like my kid's mom, you know, my wife gets pregnant, right? My mother got pregnant, but men like me, my father never got pregnant. I'm very confused. Help me.
And that allowed me to be home for somebody else. Had I not transitioned genders, I don't know if I would have been able to make it this far. And what it...
Yeah, you'd have been just fine.
No, hang on. We've got to have a look at that boat race. It says it all. You know, let's just get a pause on that. It says it all.
Genders, I don't know if I would have been able to make it this far. And
that face is saying fuck you. It's saying fuck you, fuck your world. I'm a failure. I don't like the world. I'm going to blame it for all my problems, and I'm doing my best to destroy all the things that the rest of you rely on to make it work. That is that is what that is telling me. And quite happy to abuse him or herself and the child to make that point. Hello, Andrew. Good to see you, mate. Andrew says the local maternity unit now does not say you've had a boy or a girl as not to cause offence. I'd be fucking offended if they didn't tell me if I had a boy or a girl. I'd say, well, can you tell me, please? Because I want to know. Jesus.
Yeah, you'd have been just fine. The recreational hormones didn't work, in particular because you got pregnant. I know you're a stunning and brave man, but you got pregnant.
it's taught me is that I'm no more a woman today than I was before I had my baby. Having a uterus and using that uterus.
Hang on. All right, okay, I'm not going to dine out on any more of Odin's world's content. Let's just think of that line. Think about masculinity, men. He said in that lady's voice, I'm more of a man now that I've had a baby. No, you're the same amount of woman as you were already. Actually, you've said the complete opposite of the truth. You're not more of a man for having a baby. You're the same amount of woman as you was before. What's the difference? A bit of lipstick. I don't get it. Doc, I agree with you. Sadly, I agree with you. I know people don't like to hear it. Hello, Broken Silence. Good to see you, mate. Oh, actually, there's someone I need to speak to. The me-in-its. Are either of the me-in-its on the firm? I have got your email. I just haven't had time, but I will reply to it. And it's very exciting. Hello, Nate. Good to see you. Mike. I can't read it out. I can't risk it. All right. Blogs, I'm on it. So blogs, here he is again. That link isn't there, Bill. It goes into, I'll show you what you've done there. And you'll see why I can't click that link. You're such a niggler. You know I don't like playing other people's links. but that's just absurd, isn't it? I'm more of a man for having a baby. It's just like, no, it doesn't work like that. What an insult to masculinity. What an insult to his own parents. Yeah, Bill, look, let me make that a bit bigger for you. Can you see what that link has done? You've got a target equals blank, blah, blah, blah. Oh, unless that'll work. Oh, there you go. Sorry, mate. What is it before I get in trouble? All right, we'll play a bit of this. Thanks, Bill. Can't wait to get my channel yeeted. Oh, we saw this, Bill, but I will play the first bit again because it was a bit ridiculous. But let's see what Boyle's got to say to defend the. So this is the situation where they had a little gathering where they were talking about racism, because apparently that's all there is to talk about these days. And one of them joked about getting together and killing Whitey. And because people complained about that, the left were like, nah, you white fragility bastards. So this is Frankie Boyle's take on the response to someone making a joke about killing Whitey. Okay. Can you hear it? Let me know if you can hear it first.
It glosses over the complexities of.
There you go. Could you hear that, people? It's funny, actually. Thank you, It's a Duck. It's funny you say that, Nate. I had a look at Threads today, and last night I had a look at Threads, and not the film about a nuclear bomb going off in Sheffield, but the new social media platform. And that Ellen DeGeneres said, "Welcome to gay Twitter," and I was thinking, good gosh. And isn't it weird that that's actually code for welcome to leftist Twitter? I mean, apart from a massive insult to the gays, it's just ridiculous. Just putting them all in one bracket. We're all the same. Anyway, let's have a look at this. Blogs reckons I've only got to play 7 seconds, so hopefully we'll be all right.
Black Lives Matter glosses over the complexities of a world where we all need to come together and kill Whitey.
Look, the BBC. He's such a niggler. We've all seen it, Bill. Yeah. I don't know what to say now, Bill. Nice one, mate, though. Always appreciate R2. I think I closed Entropy after that. Oh, it's all gone tits up now. Hang on a minute. Give me a couple of seconds, because Bill did donate another one. And weirdly, not weirdly at all, actually, the niggler is one of my top donators. So he will be respected, and I will read out his super chats. He dropped another one, and he said, "I wonder if the 42% tendency will be inherited by the kid." What the niggler is referring to there is 40% of people who transition actually commit suicide after transition, which is just crazy, just absolutely crazy. Oh, be gone. You're giving me the horrors. Right, I think I've got something else wrapped up in here. Give me a second. I'll do a little bit of looking around. Jessica knows why. I think I've got another one in here. No, I haven't. Why does that say 6? Oh, yes, I have. Alan. Look. Now, Anglo has dropped a 5-bit for Cold Hard Steel. And directly after that, Alan has asked for Mandom. I will play both of them, but I cannot take any more music suggestions because that's already about 7 minutes. Yes, Anglo, we will have Cold Hard Steel. Yes, Alan, we will have Mandom. There you go. Sweet. That's the outro music. It won't be that far away, actually, because it's 2 o'clock in the morning here. I've been working since 8 o'clock this morning. I've got to show you this. Now, I want you to see the clickbait because it got me. Thank you, Alan, and thank you, Anglo, for those donations. Really appreciated. Without the grift, there's no streams. That's just the reality of life at the moment for me, I'm afraid. That's why I've been working a week. That's why we had no streams for a week. I've been down in the e-commerce mines, seeing if I can find a seam of sales. Right, can I make the YouTube chat page bigger? A little bit. Right, okay. So I saw this, right? I can't believe you're all going to see what else I look at. So much football stuff. Andy Mack! Anyway, young man, take my tithe. I never pronounce it right, do I? Last of the dole. There needs to be a reckoning. Well, in truth, and I don't want to black pill, France is going. It's finishing. And Germany and England, I honestly think, are going to go the same way. Now, thank you, Andy, by the way. Really appreciated. And thank you, Bill, as well. Does that mean forever? No, that's why I'm getting Bobby and Horace on. Because, I always, not always, that's an exaggeration, but I kind of realised halfway through my red pill journey that a nationalist kind of revolution, which is what you need, is a generational thing, And Bobby is. I don't want to. Hello, Osmeister. Good to see you, mate. Mrs. Minutes, did you hear me? I've read your email. I just haven't had time. Very exciting. I won't say anything here, but well, you've just outed yourself. I won't say it, but you have. But very exciting, and yes, I can obviously help you. And I wouldn't be worried about you and your other half taking up the time anyway. I'd love to show you around the place. Yeah, we'll do that. I will reply. I'm not ignoring it. I've just been crazy busy. Right. What you've got to remember, I'm kind of saying stuff I should really be saving for the Bobby and Horace stream, but England's a nuclear power. We've got nuclear submarines around the world. The idea of decoupling multicultural, globalist England or Britain from the global economy, from the global war machine, it just seems like fantasy. Now, that doesn't mean things can't change, and that's what Bobby talks about, but I can't see the global community putting up with what would need to be done in a short term, ethically and morally, in their eyes, to regain a nation of the ethnic natives. I just can't see it. But anyway, I've gone right over there. But when I made that video with Dan and when Hugh turned up, I wanted to start that conversation. But Bobby and Horace, and I'll be playing devil's advocate again, don't worry about that, because I think it's important to. I don't think we should all just sit there and go, yeah, it's working. And it ain't. I don't think that's helpful to anyone. Anyway, have a look at this. This is what I saw, right? So this is what I saw. I've made it as big as I can. That's what she said. Alice in Genderland, right? Alice in Genderland. Can you see that there? By Richard J. Novick. And it's got this weird kind of sort of semi-sensual picture on it. And I thought, okay. And then I saw it said Novelzilla. And I thought, okay, maybe it's a review of some mad leftist novel, right? So I clicked it. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you might have already seen this. Where is it? Right, this has got to be second to Lartus's attempt when he was on Thingy Bob's show. This, hello, Sally. This has got to be the worst marketing for a novel. Again, second to Lars. I've just got to keep saying it. So what this, and it's weird that earlier on today we were talking about AI generated content, right? What the AI voice says when basically just giving you the summary of the novel, it's also written in the description. There's 2 comments. One, someone else says pass, and the other one's me saying weak. So this is someone who's written a novel, Alice in Genderland. Great. And this is them trying to sell it to you. I'll play you a bit of this. Let me know you can hear it. But just understand how, I mean, if I'd have already bought this book and then I'd watched this video, I'd have taken the book back. It's like reverse marketing. Thank you, Little Red. Much appreciated. Nice one. Where are we? Got that. Right. Nice one, Anglo. You will get your tunes. Thank you for that. No, you're the diamond geese. We're all diamond geezers around here, apart from the diamond birds. Right, so listen to this marketing. Let me know you can hear it.
Alice in Genderland by Richard J. Novick is a thought-provoking and enlightening novel that delves into the complexities of gender identity and the journey of self-discovery. Through the eyes of Alice, the protagonist, the reader is taken on a transformative and emotional journey that challenges societal norms and explores the fluidity of gender. Novick's writing style is engaging and immersive, allowing readers to empathize with Alice and experience her struggles and triumphs firsthand. The author's use of vivid descriptions and rich metaphors brings the narrative to life, painting a vivid picture of Alice's world and the challenges she faces. The storytelling is compelling and draws the reader in from the very first page.
Oh, I can tell you've got the talent for that. Oh, yeah. That's when I'm hearing this, all I'm thinking of is, oh, this is going to be difficult to put down. I mean, the storytelling is compelling. This is a fucking advert for it. It's so boring. It goes on for 4 minutes, 46 seconds.
Is compelling and draws the reader in from the very first page, making it difficult to put the book down. One of the novel's greatest strengths is its exploration of gender identity and the nuances of personal identity.
Oh, because that's what everyone wants.
Novick masterfully navigates the complex terrain of gender, highlighting the ways in which societal expectations and prejudices can limit individuals.
And what they learned that month when they just started their undergraduate course. I mean, good Lord. Thankfully, this person can't market this nonsense. Good gosh. It's so boring. I can't pick that book up. Right, where am I going here? Hang on. I think I've got one more thing in the trap for you. It's 2:15 in the morning. I've got to do a little bit of nothing tonight. Hang on a minute. Oh, actually, this is going to be interesting. Alan, you still here? So this is part of where Stephen Campbell and Alan come from. This is Appalachia. And this shocked me. And it also shocked me when, I think it might have been Tucker Carlson. Did you see his speech at that Turning Point thing? It was brilliant. I mean, it's only Tucker Carlson, but it's only Tucker Carlson. So, you know. But I think it was Tucker Carlson who was saying that you can drive across America now and there's just whole cities that are just fucked. Just people living in encampments on the streets and shit everywhere. And this is I always say alopecia. But check out some of America. You know, America, the greatest civilization on the planet. Amazing. And what these fuckers have done to it in a matter of years, it shocked me. Have a look at some of this. Hang on. I'll just look around a bit while I'm trying to work out how it works. Have a look at some of this. It will blow your mind. You know, the richest place in the world. Let me know you can hear it, people.
What a different America out here. If I cruise up some of the haulers, you think that's a good idea? You lost him again.
A lot of people don't understand it. If it wasn't for coal mines, a lot of these people around here would be starving to death.
Feels like everybody picked up and left.
Like literal ghost towns. Like just ghost towns.
I came from a long line of drug users. I will be the first in my family to hold a college degree.
Are you the grandma of the hauler?
I guess.
Massive hit to a community like this.
I want to show people that we are more than just drugs and coal mining.
We work hard, we support our families, and we don't let nobody step in between that.
This place got me a little emotional.
Alan, is that what are you still here, Alan? Is that what it's like where you are?
Good morning, guys. Here in Bluefield, West Virginia. And today we have quite an adventure we're going on, driving through the south side of West Virginia, all the way over to Kentucky. And this is known, arguably, is one of the most impoverished places in the country. Now, this is former coal country. The industry was booming at one time. It's retracted.
Exactly, well, not exactly, but same as England. When Thatcher decided to import coal, all those coal mining all those coal mining places up north, they just had all their work. They were reliant on coal. And now you've got those places where it's got like 80% drug use and families that have got 3 generations of people that have been on welfare. It's obscene. But look at this, one of the richest nations in the world.
Did quite a bit. Many people have left, but some have stayed. So today we're going to get far out as we can, into the sticks, to meet the locals, ask the questions, learn from them, and get a better understanding of what this region is like. Let's do this.
It just makes me so sad, even just hearing that music. You know, what we heard about America. When I heard about America as a child, you know, it was just this amazing place of potential. And
Married one of my daughters.
Yeah. And now you two are married.
No.
Oh, I thought you were husband and wife. I'm sorry.
No. I've known him all his life, so.
Yep. Okay. Gotcha.
Like I said, he married my oldest son's ex-wife.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'll stop in, sit around and talk to her. You know, she don't get too much, you know, a lot of people, you know, too much company anymore. Every time I go up to my brother's, I'll stop down here and talk to you, don't make it.
Oh, that's cool. So you guys are all connected here. Everyone knows everyone.
Yeah.
That's nice. You don't feel lonely.
If something goes wrong, something happens, the neighbors.
It's a cracking documentary. I'll put the link in the chat, actually. I mean, unfortunately, the interesting bits are the bits that are failing. He tries to, you know, it's a little bit of leftist propaganda in a way, because he's like, well, you know, all the jobs have gone and, you know, everyone's on ice, but, you know, there's still this family who are quite nice. And it's like, mate, you know, this used to be Boomtown. Hang on, Alan's got to us. No, but a little more east to me, but that is home to me. And Alan, have you lived there all your life in Appalachia? You must have seen some changes, man. Yeah, the same as that, John. You know, it just was this, everything you saw about it. And, you know, I remember Reagan. That's what got me into politics, really. I saw Reagan and just, you know, Reagan was a fantasist. Don't get me wrong. The man was a fantasist. But as you should be, if you're going to run the nation, have that fantasy, have the American dream, get on a horse, get a ranch, you know, have a gun in your holster, and live that constitutional dream that made America a place where every fucker wants to go. And yet, in just a matter of years, the Democrats have absolutely fucked it. It's fucked. And I don't appreciate saying, I don't enjoy saying that. I'd say it about Britain. Britain's fucked. And I'm sorry, you know, when Packer was talking to me, I got the feeling he was saying, yeah, you haven't escaped it. It's coming to you as well. I'm not saying I've escaped it. It's everywhere. That's the globalist machine. It's already here. You know, that's what they've done. That's what globalism is. It's global. They interlock everything with everything else. You know, when I first moved here, I was like one of about 5 barangs in this area. You know, I'm not now. This is like fucking a little barang colony now where I live. And I don't like that. I don't like it because, you know, I understand why the Cambodians are doing it, because it brings money into the country and they need money. That's one thing they need. You know, they haven't got a lot of it. Not some of them have. Some of them got a fucking lot of it. But, you know, I'm just not sure that clock gets turned back. I just don't think it can. I don't think it's, especially when you're dealing with nuclear powers. You know, look what happened. You know, when I do my meme drops, if you follow me on Twitter, like yesterday, I dropped about 60 memes on Twitter. And a couple of them are Trump memes. And people say to me, you really like that Trump. You still like Trump. And it's like, look at the options. Look at the options. Trump done amazing things for America. Yeah, he done a few things that weren't perfect, but as if I'm going to agree with everything. You know, you've got to play a little bit of, you know, you've got to play the game a little bit to become president. But he done amazing things. The energy independence, the no starting of wars. You know, have you seen the things he said he's going to do if he wins next time? You know, he reckons he'll end that war in Ukraine overnight. And I believe him. I believe him. Because all you've got to do is say to NATO, fuck off. Just fuck off. You can't surround another country with your ballistic missile launching sites and expect to get away with it. It's absurd. Absolutely absurd. And you know, Moslab, when he comes on here, you know, he got sick of me asking him in the end, but he just, you know, Moslab has worked hard all his life. He's got a big family. He's got a decent job. He's got land. And he just says it as clear as day. He said, my life under Trump was brilliant. And compared to this idiot, it was like paradise. Words to that effect. I don't want to really put words in his mouth. And, you know, when you like Trump, he does this, he likes Israel, he likes this. He made America great again. He actually done it. He done it. And look what they done to him. They just this and that. And he's doing this and he's doing that and he's doing this. You know, they hobbled him. They stopped him from being president. I mean, if the media was anything like it was in the Reagan era, what an incredible family. Like Melania, what a first lady. You know, she's a 13 out of 10 bird. She's just gorgeous. You know, she's like the American dream. You know, she immigrant into the country, made good of herself, married a billionaire, and ended up first lady. What a story! And you know, what a terrible shame the way they treated them. The way the media. Joan, the link's in the description. I'll put it in here. It's not Chris Dangerfield because I lost that one when I took down my channel. It's a bit cheesy, but you know, I'm trying to promote my novel. That's what my handle is on Twitter. But there's a link in the description. Well, there should be anyway. But yeah, without a doubt. An absolute salt. But I just hope, I hope, I mean, Trump's well out in front at the moment. I just hope, and as I've said this countless times, he's not stupid. He knows he's going to have to they're going to have to do ballot harvesting. They're going to have to go around all those churches and say, look, come on, we'll coach you down there. We'll give you buy a dinner, go harvesting, because those people will vote for Trump. They just won't go and do it themselves. Everyone knows that. He's got to get busy with all that sort of stuff. And he's also got to get people to volunteer to sit and watch those polling stations and those mail-in places 24/7 for 3 or 4 weeks after the election. That's got to be done. Because if the Dems get in again, I honestly think it will be past the point of no return. I dread to think how many people have flooded into that country in the last couple of years. I don't trust their numbers. It's just open. You can just come in. And it's pretty, it's not that different to England, really, what's going on. I mean, just look at the basic facts. Trump was selling energy. Trump was selling coal and gas. He was selling it. They had surplus. America floats on oil. Now Biden's begging OPEC, literally begging them. Can you bring the price down? Why would OPEC do that? They're like, no. Will you produce more? No. Because we know it fucks you up. And we want you fucked. Because we don't want America to be powerful. How does that help us? Ridiculous. I went off on a bit of a one there. Let me see if I can find that video I wanted to show you. It weren't that. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, they're just terrifying. Have you seen what they've done to Mexico? I've got people who live out there, and they say, no, the country is run by them. It's much the same as Pablo Escobar and Colombia in the 70s. They own the government, they own everything. You do what you're told, and if they come and hire you, you have to work for them. People swing from fucking streetlights in the morning in Mexico. Hello, King Corona. Hello, mate. Hello, Space Opera Mark. It's absurd. Absolutely absurd. Right, if I can find this one more clip. Oh, I showed you that this morning. Damn, I hope that weren't the one I wanted to show you. Give me a second, people. Give me a second. Oh, this is probably worth watching a little bit of. What's the time? Yeah. Black Pigeon Speeches. What? That's not the name of the channel. Black Pigeon Speaks latest video. Check out a bit of this. Very interesting. Obviously up my Strasse. But what he's saying, compare this to the orthodoxy of Britain and America, the West. The video is called Japan, No Country for Plus Size Western Women. And I know this because I've got family who live in Japan. I've got friends who live in Japan. Check this out. We'll only watch about 4 minutes of it, but you'll get the point. And there's some great eye candy. Here we go. Let me know you can hear it. You know how it works. Let's go, son.
Kids were very unkind when I was growing up. Blubber butt, porker, lard bucket, butterball, over the quarter pounder rounder, all of which today are verboten, were names used when I was a child at school to bully those that were overweight. Kids fat shaming each other on the playground, I would guess, goes back to since at least the introduction of public schools in the Western world. But Japan as a nation takes fat shaming to a whole new level. And for most Western women living in this country, well, it can be mentally scarring, as most notions of beauty at any size are viciously mocked in the media, but also in almost every social interaction. Despite being a wealthy country and access to food that is second to none, with Tokyo having more Michelin-starred restaurants than any city in the world, well, why then does the average Japanese woman not get fat? And why is even the American depiction of Godzilla coming under fire in Japan for his perceived American shape? Hi, everyone. Now, does Black Whale. A few days ago, a story came across my desk about an American woman who released a TikTok video lamenting the fact that she believed that she was being discriminated against in the current year. Honestly, she said, it's discrimination that they can't build wider aisles in airplanes in 2023. And this clip landed about 700,000 views. And while I was out on a pub crawl here in Tokyo the other night, this story got me thinking. In America, the push for health at any size, happiness at any size, sexiness at any size has been a rallying cry for the ever-expanding waistlines of those women who demand that society not judge them by their girth. Now, to be fair, there's obviously something in the modern food supply, but the ballooning of the American woman.
Right, this is just the bit I actually want you to hear. I've seen that, Mrs. Meehan. I'll get that up in a minute, but this is the bit I want you to hear because it's the relevant bit.
Is truly jaw-dropping. The average American woman now weighs as much as the average 1960s man at a scale-crushing 166.2 pounds, and that's according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Now, again, to be fair, over the same period, American men have gained nearly 30 pounds, from 166 pounds in the 1960s to 195.5 pounds today. However, when taken strictly from a BMI view, the sheer size of American womanhood is worrying. This is in stark contrast to that of Japanese womanhood, where the average woman weighs about 111 pounds, and that's women in their 20s, to the high water mark of 117 pounds for a woman in their late 50s.
Where are we? What we're doing? It's a cracking video, well worth watching. I'll give you the link. I can't just dine out on his content though. There's that. Oh, the girlfriend's on the phone again. Jess got in there first. I just did. Yeah, it was ridiculous, wasn't it? But it's like over here. When I go to the markets or a public place over here, when I look around, you don't see people aren't massive. They're not massive. And you know, I like a curvy big woman. I like women, but when it's a health problem, then that's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong for everyone concerned. And again, you've got to ask why this has happened to the West. It's not an accident. It's not an accident. Like, you know, all the demoralization is malice. It's all been part of an intentional plan to fuck us up. And that's a problem of a democratic left-wing government. They run with this stuff. They don't look at it. You know, they're telling kids now that it's all right. When we were kids in the playground, anything, like I used to stink at school because I had one bath a week and two shirts. One shirt and one bath. So by Thursday, Friday, I was a bit hummy. And I got called gypsy, I got called stinky. Anything you had that someone could attack, they would. Why? Because that's what kids do. And that's how it toughens you up. And that's how you learn to defend yourself. And that's how you grow. And that's how you become a fucking adult. But now you're not allowed to do any of that. You get expelled from school if you dare criticize someone. That just makes weak people. That is a leftist factory. You put the kids in one end and they come out weak and broken before the age of 10. That's if they haven't had their puberty blockers already, which will soon probably be about 50% of the population. It's terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And, you know, it's not just weight. It goes much further than that. I am actually doing something now because of the amount of memes I put up. I just want to show you something. It's just going to take me a couple of seconds to find it. Did I put that link in the chat? Everyone wants it just for that last little clip. Right, I want to show you that, but I want to show you this. Right, this photo I'm about to put on the screen, this was from an article called from a magazine, an online magazine called Insider, right? This article is not about weight. It's not about obesity. You're not allowed to say morbid. You're not allowed to say that morbid obesity anymore because it's offensive. It's offensive to warn someone that their size might kill them. Okay. This photo I'm about to show you is from an article about the hottest new gym clothes for 2023. I'm not lying. I can't. This is from my Twitter, so I can't be asked to find the article now. But you'll have to trust me. There's no mention of body size because, you know, this is all just normal and all right now. And this is the image that is at the top of the article about the best new gym clothes for 2023. Maybe I can make that a bit bigger. No. What I can do is this. Hang on. Don't laugh at me, Jessica. I know what I'm doing. I'm not just doing the old look. I'm actually making something happen. Here we go. That's better. There you go. Best new gym clothes for 2023. Again, when we talk about cultural artifacts that give you a milestone of how healthy, I mean healthy in the sort of symbolic way a culture is, you can rest assured that that culture isn't doing very well. Not that they're overweight. I've been a drug addict most of my life. I understand people have problems. That isn't the issue. The issue is that now it's all right. That's not something that you should help them with. It's not something that needs to be changed. You shouldn't tell me to lose weight. What's it to do with you? Well, because I love you and I'd like you to survive and I'd like you to get better. There's clearly a problem. That's the difference. It's much like saying to alcoholics and drug addicts, no, you crack on, mate. Yeah, also, no worries. That's happening anyway. Now here I'm going to show you something nice. I'm going to show you an absolute palate cleanser. I did put this on Twitter and I thought it's a bit of a risk because it's quite a dark place. But this is my mother and father on their wedding day. Nice little picture for the end of the stream. Oh, well, I've shown you. Hang on, I've shown you the wrong page. That was them, but it was just a bit small. You see my old man, look, Who do you reckon that is? Me or my dad? I'll do a little zoom in. Look at the me on that. Fucking hell. Fucking hell, man. Sweet picture though, isn't it? Look at old mummy and daddy Danger. Oh. There you go. Go back in that church there. So there's that. Right. At this point in proceedings, I'm going to go here. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you might want to. I don't only promote my Substack. I do a meme drop, about 3 a week. 30, 40, 50 memes all in a row, and they go down a treat. Like I got over 100 likes from yesterday's meme drop. So, you know, I do spend a bit of time and select the good ones. Right. What have we got first? Bosh. Right, people, it is now 2:45 in the morning. It is time I left. I'm going to make sure I know Mrs. Me in It left one. Mrs. Me in It dropped a 10-bit. Hey, when we come over, the Me in It's are coming to Cambodia. How exciting. I'm really excited. You're going to have a great time. Buy us a chicken bumping heart wrap. That was in Vietnam, but you can. My missus will cook you some chicken hearts if you want them. That'll be you and her eating them. I'll make some French toast. Thank you, Mrs. Me in It. Right, I want to thank the boy Cray and my man Rags for looking after the place. I want to thank everyone who donated. Without the donations, there are no. I'm just going to refresh Entropy. I don't want to have missed any of those. The young niggler will go absolutely barking. But without donations, there are no streams because that's the financial reality of life. No, we're up to date on Entropy. I will be putting your comments on the screen. I'm going to be playing 2 tunes, Mumford and then Mandom. But thanks for everyone who donated. Thanks for Rags and the boy Craig for looking after the place. Most of all, thank all you lot for keep coming back here. We had 110 people here at one point. Lovely to have those numbers. And it's the second stream of the day, which is nice. It's a privilege to be able to come here and stream. I love it. Nice one, JP. I really appreciate it too. So here's Paul Mumford with Cold Hard Steel. I dedicate this to Anglo-Saxon. I will be putting your messages on the screen as the music plays. Here we go. You hear that?
Tell your daddy you're fighting good. Feel the glory he said you would. Tell your mama you're coming home. Over all of that deafening drone. But you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel.
Good to see you, Broken.
Feel the dawn of your final day.
Take care out.
Feel the fear and go anyway.
Good callback, nice,
big black lane. Kill your conscience and numb your brain. But you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel.
Max, I've just put that link in the chat, mate.
Do whatever they tell me to. Tell yourself it ain't really you. slaughtering has begun. You'll be murdering someone's son, and you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold heart steel. Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold heart steel. Oh Lord, yes, you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold heart steel. Oh Lord, cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold heart steel. Oh Lord, hey.
Good point, Casworth. Maybe later this week. We got a load of photos as well now. Yeah, later this week. Wow. Right, I've got to do it like this because I don't know how you're meant to do it, but I've already got it wrapped up. So bosh, 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 bosh. Present screen patron. Yep, mine. Here we go, people. Here's some memories. This always does. Nielsen Darker's jumper. Whoa, you started too soon and ruined the party for everyone. Ta-da! Don't forget Neil Sedaka's jumper, eh?
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land.
Good luck with your arm, Alan. Oh, yourself.
Joy of loving is to live in the world of man. There's someone who's waiting for you. Soon the world will be yours for a time. Music starts to play, night will turn to day. Darkness disappears when the one you love is near. You're in man.
Nice one,
All the world
cheers, mate.
Loves the lover, all the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving is to live in the world of mankind. There's a place that is waiting for you, a world where the best in life is free.
What shoes are they, Andy?
Where time is always spring, happiness is king. The dreams you dream come true when the one you love loves you. You're in land.
Okay. Thanks for a lovely stream, people. That's 2 today. 2 of a perfect pair. You gotta love it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. There are 4 things I've just been thinking. Let's see what we see. The future is happening. About now. Yes.
All the world loves a lover. All the girls. And every land on man to know. Joy of loving. Is to live. In the world of mankind.
Everyone's singing along at home. I ain't having it. It ain't just me, surely. Oh, I've had a cracking time streaming today. Thank you, people. It's an absolute pleasure and a privilege. Watch what happens when I go like this.